Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really thought-provoking July 2026 blog post by Ang. It's titled, Notes on Photography, Part 248, The Nostalgic Memory of Newspaper Rack. It's this fantastic, short essay that uses a totally simple, everyday object to explore how we capture memories, and really, how we consume information in our modern world. But before we get into the specifics of Ang's post, I want you to just take a second and ponder this question. What quiet stories do our everyday items tell? I mean, we're constantly surrounded by objects, right? Things we walk past, things we touch, things we just completely ignore because they blend perfectly into the background of our super busy routines. But what if we paused? If you stopped and really looked at, say, an old park bench, a rusted mailbox, or a frayed book spine, what memories would it unlock? Setting that introspective, kind of meditative tone is exactly what Ang does in this piece. We're going on a little journey today, zooming in on the totally mundane to discover the extraordinary memories hiding right in plain sight.
All right, let's start with Section 1, Everyday Mobile Photography, an everyday carry.
Okay, let's dive into this. Ang makes a really compelling argument for the power of modern photography. And the best part? It absolutely isn't about expensive gear. It's all about accessibility. So, why indulge in photography today? Well, because it's easily accessible to literally anyone with a decent mobile camera. Your phone is the perfect everyday carry, empowering you to become a historian of your own life. Because you always have this tool right there in your pocket, you can instantly capture those quiet, fascinating little narratives that unfold around you all the time. You don't have to plan a huge photo shoot to document the world. You just have to keep your eyes open.
Moving on to Section 2, The Newspaper Rack, Quietly Telling a Story. Now, what's really interesting here is how beautifully ordinary the subject is. We're talking about a simple newspaper rack, just a piece of metal, probably a bit scuffed up, standing quietly in the corner of a store or a library. It's the epitome of mundane. I mean, most people wouldn't even give it a second glance. Yet, for Ang, this highly overlooked, completely ordinary object acts as an incredibly powerful anchor for memory. It's like a portal. Capturing a photo of this simple structure wasn't really about the rack itself, It was about the stories and the feelings that this specific physical object unexpectedly unlocked. Which brings us to Section 3, Nostalgia of the Library, Memories of Youth. As we get into this part, I want you to just sort of slow down for a second. Think back to your own childhood summers. Ang writes, quote, enjoying the cool air conditioning on hot, blazing days. That exact quote just perfectly transports us right into the author's youth. Picture it, escaping the sweltering heat outside, stepping into the quiet, expansive, delightfully frigid environment of a local library. It's a sanctuary, right? And in that sanctuary, sitting quietly, absorbing the daily news at a remarkably unhurried pace. It's a deeply sensory, relaxed memory of a time way before the rush of the modern digital age completely took over.
But, it isn't just the temperature of the room that Ang remembers. It's the sound, the distinct, crisp sound of flipping the broad pages of a newspaper. It is actually amazing how auditory memories can just completely wash over you, isn't it? That rustle of the oversized paper, the deliberate, physical action of turning a massive page, smoothing it out, actually taking the time to read long-form columns. That specific sound brings back a profound, deep nostalgia for yesteryear. It represents this physical interaction with information that requires both your hands and your absolute undivided attention.
And wow, does that contrast with Section 4, the infinite scroll, short patience.
Let's actually compare these two eras of consumption side by side, because the contrast is stark. On side A, we have the tradition of the bride pages. It's a slow pace meant for genuine reflection. And as Ang notes, today this is mostly enjoyed by a few retired folks who deliberately keep this traditional, unhurried method alive. Then look at side B. This is where the rest of us live now. The infinite scroll. Just a constant barrage of fleeting videos. It's this frantic hunt for the next piece of content, fueled by incredibly short patience. We've literally traded the quiet rustle of paper for the silent, frantic swipe of a thumb.
3. Just 3 seconds. Ang points out that this is the tragic, razor-thin limit of our modern attention span. We give something 3 seconds to catch our eye before we relentlessly swipe away, desperately hunting for the next video to give us a momentary dopamine hit. It's a really sobering metric when you stop and think about it. Sure, we've modernized how we consume news and media. Absolutely. It's faster. It's way more accessible. But look at the cost. Our patience hasn't just shrunk. It's practically vanished. We barely give ourselves the time to process what we're even seeing before we demand to see the next thing.
So, let's take a collective breath and look at Section 5, a slower era, relaxed consumption.
And this brilliantly illustrates the entire purpose of Ang's photograph. The newspaper rack isn't just an obsolete piece of trash or some forgotten relic of a bygone commercial enterprise. Ang completely redefines it. This simple structure stands as a monument to patience. It is a beautiful reminder of a slower, much more relaxed era of consumption. By using an everyday mobile camera to capture this overlooked object, Ang has essentially preserved a feeling. It's a physical testament to a time when we actually allowed ourselves the space to sit, to reflect, and to just be present with our thoughts and our media.
So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought today. Have we permanently lost our patience in this digital age? Or can we still find deliberate ways to slow down? Can we somehow break out of the 3-second infinite scroll and reclaim a little bit of that library quiet for ourselves? I highly encourage you to take a look around you today, see what everyday objects might just remind you to take a breath. Thanks so much for exploring this explainer with me today, and I'll catch you next time.